All right, welcome back to the TDE pod. This week we got Stefan on the pod.
Happy to be here.
We got some big news, dude.
Big news.
Today, as we're recording it, they just announced Yu-gi-Oh Genesys, which, if you're watching this, you probably know all about it, but if you don't, a new format, which kind of replaces the time travel, time wizard-esque formats, but there's no ban list. Yeah, any card is technically playable. However, there's a point buy system. Some cards are 100 points. Some cards are 0 points. Most cards are 0 points. But the point buy system is kind of in place to stop degenerate combos.
Yeah, we'll see how far that goes.
Yeah.
But they put like a salary cap on their website too. It's kind of funny.
Oh, really? Cap friendly? Yeah, no, it's so like the Gear-Freed combo with
Butterfly Dagger.
Yeah. So one card would be 100 points and the other is 1, just so you can't play those specific 2 cards together. And there is, for official events, I think it's always going to be 100 points.
Yes.
But it's really interesting that they've made it so the variable you can change is the amount of points, which opens it up for those degenerate things, but also kind of allows for people to play decks they might have wanted to play in, say, Goat or Edison, if that point total increases or whatever, right?
No links or pendulums too.
Big thing. No links, no pendulums, which, I don't know. I've heard a lot about it so far today, particularly links.
Yeah.
Links makes more sense.
Too much generic stuff.
Yeah, everything's too generic. Then it's like, okay, if SP Little Knight is 100 points, then is it worth even having in the discussion? But it's, I wonder, like, how do you feel about it? Because for me, it's kind of weird in that it's a pretty intuitive summoning technique. So if we're approaching this from the guise of, like, this is going to be good for onboarding new players, more so than advanced format currently is, it feels weird to take that one specifically away.
I wonder about it being for onboarding new players more than just retroactively cashing in on older players. Because I think, and I heard a lot of people saying this today, that the current advanced format is in such like a decent place right now.
Yeah.
That they're trying to capitalize on how good the game is in that aspect, and then just pull other people back in with this sort of more retro-friendly format.
That's an interesting take. I tend to agree with that. It does suck, though, because there's some strategies that it's like, that I used to play that aren't degenerate, and we're kind of got caught in the crossfire or, victims to other decks being good. Even
RB, brand new deck just came out.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be great for this. Oh, no links.
No. Yeah, no links. Like the sweater you're wearing, the flu sweater, made it so I can't play Simorg in my Nephthys deck. Barrier statue locks and all that nonsense. But, so I was excited, like, I could play this deck again, but no links. Malice, it's like, wait, where are the Malice cards on this list of cards that should have high values? Oh, yeah. No Fiendsmith hits? Oh, yeah.
No yummy.
Yeah, no yummy either. So, it's interesting. The one that I find more obtuse, which speaks to your point of it being more geared towards returning players, is the pendulum one, because it's just, it's almost like a meme at this point. Like, the boomers don't like pendulums. Honestly, I think maybe some of the pendulum decks of the past were a bit degenerate and broke the game, but the mechanics of a pendulum card are not that difficult to understand. No. It's either a spell card or a monster, and it's got some wiggle room with both. So that's a little unfortunate.
Yeah. As long as you keep people from like turboing out Zark every turn or something, you're probably okay.
Yeah, it's probably fine. But I get it in that, like, it serves the announcement of Genesys to be like, hey, those cards you don't like, they're not here. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Like, are you surprised they kept Xyz?
I mean, maybe I'm a little biased. I think Xyz is my favorite summoning type for the
Okay.
extra deck.
Yeah.
I really like that we have tangible materials on a card to activate an effect.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
a really fun function of the game.
Uh-huh.
So I'm okay with that existing, me personally. Yeah, I just like it as a whole from what I'm seeing so far. I think that those point totals have probably got to be tweaked a little bit.
Yeah.
But they've
Yeah,
said
shifter
it's in
at 5.
Shifter at 5 is crazy. Droll, I think, is probably way too free in most decks right now.
Yeah.
But they said it's like an early access thing right
Yes.
now. So they'll tweak
Yeah.
it. We'll see how it goes. And if it's being monitored monthly, like they said, that's going to be pretty big too. Like,
Yeah.
we can see tangible changes month to month in the game.
Mm-hmm. It's funny too, though. You like Xyz having like the physical materials, because I think, okay, say you get a brand new player to the game.
Sure.
You're teaching them how to play for the first time. Maybe their deck has access to every type of extra deck monster, right? Like I encountered this when I was teaching Cam how to play Melodious.
Oh,
So you have links, fusions, I guess with the exception of Synchro. But the one that people go, okay, what just happened is when you overlay 2 and then put the new one on top. It's kind of like, I don't understand what's happening anymore.
interesting.
Plus, maybe there is a official way how to Xyz summon. Like, do they have to be horizontal or vertical? But because there's no, it's like, okay, so you have a monster on top of 2 defense mode monsters. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But the mechanic of just same level, I can make this guy, makes the most sense, right?
I guess it's just because Cam would have been aware of Yu-Gi-Oh growing up. So
Sure, yeah.
The thinking is that like Fusion is the one that you're most familiar with.
Yeah.
Fusion always leaves the field, card comes out.
Yes.
So the fact that it lingers, maybe that's like the catch, is that it's
Yeah.
just, like so different because Synchro leaves the field too.
Yeah. Exactly. Synchro also where I think a lot of like the old players checked out.
Yeah.
Because you like, if you go on a generic sim online, you always get those messages, no link, no XYZ, no synchro. It's like, okay, well, just go play Goat or something, dude. But yeah, no, it's interesting. Like, I'm kind of in two minds about the whole release of this thing, because on one hand, it's like very refreshing. Konami over the last say month of we've been doing this podcast has made some like really interesting changes that aren't all bad.
No.
Which is like pretty good for Konami. Some of the changes we even agree with. The ban list, like the new time rules.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like an olive branch, or maybe the reasoning why they got rid of something like Time Wizard.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of, it's been understated so far. I mean, it's been a day, but the thing about this is like it also is affected by those new rule changes. So the end of match procedure rules, that's a thing here too. 50 minutes to play your match. And the rulings are going to be the same. Errated cards, modern rulings, like no summoning priority or whatever it was called.
Right.
We're doing like, the cards do what they say. There's no mechanics we're unaware of. But yeah, no, I don't know. What are your thoughts kind of on this being a replacement to those Time Wizard formats?
Well, part of me kind of thinks that Konami owes us a check. We were just talking about this a couple weeks ago with like, the kind of products that we had with Speed Duel and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that this is, while Speed Duel was maybe like a blunt instrument in that it reached out trying to directly to the Yu-Gi boomers.
Yes.
This is more like, well, we can't change the game.
Yeah.
But here's all the cards.
Yes.
So play with them.
Yeah.
And we'll limit you a little bit, but here's the cards.
Yeah, because there's always that kind of feels bad thing with advanced format. Is, okay, you get a deck, you pick up a new deck, it's good. It's too good, it gets banned.
I think I've heard this one before.
It gets banned, right? Now, if you just really love that deck, you're not just playing it because it's good.
No.
Or maybe you started that way, but you're like, this is my deck. I am a Vanquish Soul player.
Yeah.
Then when the list comes out, you kind of feel like you don't have a deck anymore.
No.
Or you have to pick up the pieces and play a suboptimal version of your deck.
Exactly.
Which is fair. Like, that's how the meta game works. But it's unfortunate.
No. And yeah, it's not like most people aren't really even like thinking that Vanquish Soul was the problematic portion of the deck. It was the two combined.
Yes,
but
yeah.
It's just like an unfortunate consequence of K9 being too new.
Yeah, something had to go, right? And yeah, that was the one to get. But yeah, I think it addresses that problem because that deck that you played whenever is viable in that you can still play those cards the same as you would in Advance. But now the power level, like you're not as power crept as you would be because the point buy system balances power creep.
And it's not a format like Edison or something where you don't even have it as an option.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's really cool in that way. Like all of us in our group chat today were like, oh, this means, like you said, the birds are back, a Teller Knight could come back, Ice Barrier. And it's interesting because I started like theorizing, putting together like an Ice Barrier list. Yeah. And it was like, okay, well, let's start with 3 Dominus Impulse.
Sure.
Okay, I'm at 90 points. Yeah. So, okay, now I can't play Totally Awesome. So which one would I rather have? Do I scale back my Dominus Impulses, making it less consistent in order to get some, versatility? But I think that part of deck building is actually pretty interesting. Whereas in the modern advanced format, you're more so looking at consistency and ceiling, like I always say. Yeah. But now it's like you're still sacrificing one of those two things, but the result feels a little different because if I know you're on, say, Draco Tail or K9 or something, I know you probably can't afford to play Ash Blossom.
True enough.
That's why I think like even Drool has a pretty low, like it's 7 points right now to buy, which kind of makes sense because if you can't fit it in your deck, you're allowing someone to full combo you, right?
Yeah.
But that full combo player might not have a follow-up if you do Drool them.
Exactly.
So even just like any modern deck you can think of, being able to play cards like the Dominus cards, now that option is kind of taken away, I think even if they're still able to resolve their full combo, they don't have that insulation of, I'm also playing 3 warning and whatever, right? So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see what people cook up. I think here's the one thing.
Yeah.
And it's because we've been burned in the past, right? Will Konami actually follow through on updating the format?
Yeah.
Right? Because this is kind of always what's promised to us in the form of ban lists. Because we don't have set rotation, because new cards are always coming out, ban lists are the only way to stop decks, right? Like what if tier was never hit? Would it be an enjoyable format? And like you said, the format we have now is being praised as like so open, so much fun. And so was the last one when it started, like the Rise Evil Malice format. So I think it's more so that's the part that scares me. Yeah. Now, like, it sounds good right now. There's going to be adjusters if things get out of check, whatever. Maybe shifter at 5 points is a little too low. And they can change those things. But if they don't, then this just becomes a different version of advanced format, right? Exactly. Yeah. So I'm curious to see, like, if they will.
Them even announcing that they're committing to doing a specific YCS event for this.
Huge.
Is pretty big.
Yeah.
It remains to be seen, obviously, like how that goes and what the interest level is. Was it an EU event or was it a NA? I can't remember.
Yeah. Either way, though, still, that's massive. Like, so it obviously they've had this in the works for a long time.
2 years, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's on one of their articles that they posted.
Okay, wow. Well, then, yeah, the thing is, like, I understand an announcement and, like, getting the news clip thing.
Maybe a better video.
But, yeah, that was trash. How many people do you think wouldn't have left the game had they not, said no more Edison, no more, like, again, this being, like, the olive branch of, like, okay, here's another format you can try, which is going to excite people. They might come back.
Do the restaurant classic where you say, we're not leaving, we're just changing things a little bit.
Yeah.
The web page and just put like a sign on it or something.
Yeah, something, man. Because I feel like those moves were kind of done in bad faith.
Yeah. It felt bad.
Yeah. Ultimately, those things make sense to me, business-wise. Paying for 2 different types of judging at any event, especially if you want those side events to actually be big, you're either going to have to train your judges to know both formats, or pay a separate group of judges that just judge Time Wizard events.
I didn't even consider that. That's a great point.
And then those judges by like how many times, say you have like a hat format and a goat and an Edison all at the same event. Those are 3 different types of judges. You know, a lot of them know the different things, but you don't want to force them if they don't, right? It's just kind of a headache, honestly. So that's interesting, like from that aspect of like everything coming under the same umbrella in terms of rules. Like I wonder how, like some of those decks that were degenerate and now are like fully legal, with the exceptions of those like high value cards, are they still good with new rules? Like, you know, so yeah, I don't know. I'm fascinated. What was the first deck that came to mind when you heard the news?
RDA, honestly, just because that was my first big deck that I picked up when I started playing Advanced with you guys again. Just the fact that I can actually play those cards. And I think something that you were saying about how you insulate your board now is more thought out. I'm interested to see how in-engine traps and stuff will come back in this format. Because
huge.
You can't rely on solemn cards as much anymore. So in RDA, maybe I'm going to run more red zones. Maybe I'm going to run more Fiendish Chain or something like that.
Yes.
So these are different options I have to consider now. And those cards cost nothing to play in the deck.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a really good point. Like, I do like, again, the pendulum's not being there and stuff like that, like sucks. But I really love that aspect of it where it's like, you know, not Melodious, bad example, but Teller Knight.
Yeah.
There is a good Teller Knight trap. You know, in modern Advance, it's not fast enough. But when the game is slowed down to such a way where, okay, if I can afford to play those for free, and because my whole deck is free, I can afford to play every other good hand trap in the game. Or at least, you know, a few of the good ones. Now, you know, my power level increases. So it's going to be interesting. Like, the one thing, and I said this kind of in our first podcast, that I have an issue. I don't recognize alternate formats. Yeah. It's never been a thing for me. Like, I have a tough time playing Master Duel.
Oh, yeah.
Which is another aspect of this we can get to in a bit. But I have a tough time accepting, like, if it's not the current meta game, it kind of feels like cope to me.
Well, it's also extra work. Like, you have to learn all these factors that don't apply, which is something that this sort of addresses, kind of.
Yes.
But yeah, like, same for me. Like, I like my GOAT games, but I have those old cards from when I was a kid, so that's why I don't have to think too hard, because it's not like an errata.
Yeah.
Unless it's like domain format or something that's more like a party game. Yeah. Right. My investment level's pretty low.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping I don't have that same feeling about this. There is like a hesitation though.
Oh, sure.
Because I guess if there's a YCS for it, then you could be, you know, a Genesys YCS champion. Would I consider that the same as a TCG champion? Personally, right now, no.
No, sure.
Like, I think my focus will remain on TCG. But because this is such like a succinct announcement and like move by Konami, I'm like encouraged that like there will be not just like topping an event or winning and getting prizing, but there a rewarding feeling if you are to be successful in this format. One of the things you mentioned made me think of this though, that when we play Advanced, we're all kind of aware of like the meta game, which decks are good, what cards they're playing, how to get around them, if we can get around them, what we need to do to win that matchup. And there's normally 3, 4, 5 decks that fit into that conversation. And we have like the rogue elements of a format, which is interesting when you match up against the fucking guy at locals who's playing Flu or like whatever weird stun deck. And you're like, okay, this is annoying, but it's not, you know, yummy for the 5th time in a row.
No, for sure.
But this, it kind of feels relieving in a way that like, there's no meta right now.
So I have a thought on this.
Yeah.
I think, and we saw it a little bit in our chat today, I think, and I think it's going to take maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month, but there's going to be like a mindset shift for a lot of players, because I think when people saw this, a lot of people immediately started trying to apply advanced format thinking to this.
Yes.
Which, in my opinion, that's expected. It's unfortunate because like I said in the chat too, this was essentially the format that Dan and I were playing.
Yeah, right.
Into the game again.
Yeah.
Just jank nonsense decks that don't really work, but it was just what we wanted to do.
Right. But the power level you guys were playing at was balanced,
Yes.
so the games were fun because either of you had a chance, right?
Exactly.
Which is the same as advanced format, but when you take someone's, I don't know, Dark Magician deck and play against Yummy, it's probably a bad feeling for the Dark Magician guy. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Now, not so much the case. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see how it shakes out, but like we've already seen people been like, oh, okay, Vanquish Soul's still at full power in Genesis format.
Yeah.
Which again, if they follow through on their promise, that won't always be the case. If something needs to be addressed, it can be relatively quickly.
I think that could probably be a pretty easy sticking point for them to change. Hopefully it's not Vanquish Soul that takes the hit in this format too.
Poor dad, dude.
I think in this case it would be Canine just because it is the more hand trappy Vizuna specifically.
Yes.
But yeah, I think as soon as the format settles a bit and we see people stop trying to like go into meta mayhem on this stuff, it can be a lot more fun.
Yeah. And then there's an interesting thing too, like we have it now in the form of your card that was once hit because your deck was too good comes off the ban list. It makes it viable again. Usually I think they have the sense of like it's not going to do enough right now. Like say Masterpiece to 3.
Ethical King Calamity.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my fuck. Yeah.
But it's not on my turn, so not that bad.
Oh yeah. But if that's to be the case here with like the point balancing, so one of them that stuck out to me was Mitsurugi Ritual and Mitsurugi Prayers have a point level where you actually can't play both in your deck. Which is a bit obtuse if you're a Mitsurugi player. You're like, come on, man. But makes sense because Mitsurugi is a really good deck right now.
Still viable.
And I don't know, like we'll see at the next YCS, but I think Mitsurugi will be like highly represented.
Oh yeah.
But if you're a Mitsurugi player, you're kind of like, my deck's not playable. Like, the engine cards in my deck are not playable together, which is a bad feeling. Now, when more cards come out and different strategies are implemented in the TCG, I wonder, like, if there will be a... every card that's printed is allowed at 0 if otherwise not stated? Will that be the case? Will they... along with here's Doom of Dimensions and here's all the cards in it that are now, 25 points or whatever. Will they be doing that stuff on release? Hopefully. Yeah. And if it's not stated, are they 0? Then that gets a little degenerate. Yeah. But as those new cards come out, then they can say, okay, Mitsurugi players, you can play one of these each or something like that.
I don't think they announced anything to do with this for the events that they have said that OTSs can hold now. But, you mentioned this in the chat, but do we know if there's going to be any kind of list submission? I guess to track it, there must be.
Yeah, so that was a big thing to me that, like, kind of takes away from this format at the local level. Yeah. Because, I think most players are honest, but not all. Like, we know this. Yeah. So if I'm playing Pot of Greed in my Draco Tail deck in advanced format at locals, and I play it, I'm cheating. I've shown up with a banned card in my deck. That's not, that's a game loss for sure. Yeah. If I'm playing 3 or 2 or 1 of those, if I only activate one in a game at locals, you don't know, right? There would be only a few ways to check, and Triple Tactics talent is like 100 points to play, so there's not a lot, right? So at a local level, it gets really hard to manage. Yeah. Plus, like, what if you trade for a card at locals right now in advance, as long as that card's not banned or you're not playing multiple copies of it, it's fine. You just slip it in, like most people are fine with that, whatever. I guess you could say the same thing, like if someone showed up with a Vanquish Soul deck, at this weekend's locals with 3 Rosin, you would only know if they actually played it. Sure. But Noroi will be legal, so it's kind of easier to check. But yeah, just because there's 500 cards plus on this list, it's hard to keep track of what. So like the metagame becomes keeping your point totals. So I feel like it only works with list submission. Now maybe that'll be through Neuron, which I hope that user interface becomes a little more user friendly. If that's
Faster
the
too.
yeah, but or like an online client or something. There's something to speed up the process, right? But yeah, if not, then it feels hard to officiate deck count at a local level.
Well, and another thing, and my initial thought was that if they're submitted, at least that's like a trackable statistic to see what cards maybe are becoming problematic.
Oh, yeah.
Ratio of how much they're played.
Yeah, I mean, Pot of Greed at 30 points feels balanced.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much of a problem because, like, worst comes to worst, you can still ash. You can ash Pot of Greed in this.
Yeah, that's true. You still have Droll at 7 points, so it is interesting though. Like looking at the point totals for some of these things again, like Talents being like 95, right? Pot of Greed being 30. So then why isn't Pot of Greed legal in TCG, man?
I wonder if maybe that's like a plan for some of these things, like maybe not Pot of Greed specifically, but like, hey, this is functionally not an issue in Genesis format.
Yes, could it come back?
Come back in advanced.
Yeah, because you know what? In the tin they printed the Dark Matter Dragon, and I thought that was weird because they'd done something similar in one of the rarity collections, I think with Masterpiece, and a couple other cards that then came off the ban list in the next ban list.
And Chaos Dragon was in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Too,
So, you know, was that because they knew, like, obviously they knew this was coming out, so maybe there's kind of indications there that Pot of Greed also was reprinted in that set. So
make an apology video for that tin opening.
Yeah. No, that'll never happen.
All those clumped Pot of Greeds, those are doing numbers now.
Yeah. Yo, honestly, the stock went up again somehow. It is cool though.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I guess I'm feeling like a little bit anxious about the dawn of this new format.
No, new is scary.
Yeah, but what does it mean for product and for the experience, right? Because you look at like the secondhand market in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It makes things like opening product feel worse.
Yes.
Because if you don't pull a high value card, you kind of like you've lost money, which should be how it is when you buy product. It's okay to lose money. You're getting cards, but if you don't get
the hope,
but if you don't get good cards, then we have this value based off the secondhand market that we place on how good a card is how expensive it is, and vice versa. So like that feels bad, right? Now, does that change? I don't think with new sets. But maybe there's a card that, you know, all this pack filler that we always complain about. Yeah. Maybe there's application for a lot of those cards in Genesis format.
Hey, and dude, King of Ball or whatever that card is, that dude standing in the basketball arena?
Oh, yeah. Card now. Hey, it could be. Like weird cards that were like, you know, shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh Commander guy who does all the domain format videos. Yes. Who would like review new sets and be like, this card's pretty good in domain. I think like that'll be interesting to be like, this card's good in Blackwing in Genesis format if you're not playing Impulse, you know, something like that. I think now pack filler, it can be useful now instead of just being like, I don't know, we need 100 cards, fucking unexpected die or whatever the fuck. How did die get here? You know, which I think is like interesting. But on the other side of product, like, the first thing that came to mind is structure decks because of how successful Blue Eyes was. What does this mean moving forward for, you know, structured decks? Because if you're putting out a product, will it be labeled like this is a Genesis product? Will it come with Pot of Greed as a common? That kind of thing. Yeah. And if it's an archetypal structure deck, which feels more like the way it would be geared to be for Genesis, at that point, are you now not putting like new Link monsters in that because they're unplayable? So I kind of worry in that, like, I don't expect that we'll get double the amount of structure decks. I think the good structure decks sell and the bad ones don't, and I think they have a hard time like processing that information, because why is Blue Eyes like so successful and Charmers wasn't? It's because it's ass. But maybe it's viable in Genesis format. But
you made a comment today about the fact that the Blue Eyes structure deck is technically illegal. Like,
yeah,
it is. But maybe that's why they put all of those old ass cards in there too, though. Like,
yeah,
not all of that stuff that you don't play in the advanced build of the deck.
Yeah,
that's in there now, and you've got those cards, so you could probably play those. That's
a good point. I think, especially moving forward with Genesis in mind, like, yes, I think like the reason why they put those in there now is because like if you walk in off the street and you're like, I would like to try Yu-Gi-Oh again, they give you all the cards. So that, if your buddy gets Fire King and you get Blue Eyes, you can have a match that feels, not like you're playing advanced format or something. But yeah, like the Spirit with Eyes of Blue would not be a legal card. You can't have 3 Wishes in your Blue Eyes deck in Genesis. I think Wish is 33 or something. Something like that. And I haven't looked at the other Blue Eyes cards, but
the machine's got to be free, right?
yeah. There's no chance. Yeah, I guess, yeah. But you will have to play weird cards like that, right? Like I remember, like when Primite came out and it was super expensive, there was all these other different Blue Eyes builds because it was like, oh, here's people bought the structure deck, they still want to play competitively. Okay, put the Red Eyes core in there, kind of thing. And Bingo Machine Go. So. But yeah, what I'm afraid of, I guess, is that like we won't get Spirit with Eyes of Blue.
Yeah,
we won't get like the new Melodious Pendulum cards because they're not legal. Yeah. So it wouldn't behoove you to have like a starter, like beginner friendly product that's not viable in your beginner friendly game. Now again, like I think it's trying to balance boomer with beginner. Like if I'm teaching someone Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm teaching them advanced format.
That's what you're most familiar with.
Yes. But now, does that change? Like I was talking to Abby, telling her like, oh, maybe I'll teach you how to play Genesis just because it's less to learn. But then it's kind of tricky because pendulums are complicated, sure. With the scales more so than anything. But links are like the most straightforward summoning mechanic there is. Like 2 monsters. All right. You got it.
Without the...
it's contact fused, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just like... I guess I'm a little worried about the quality of product suffering so that it fits into both. Like, obviously, Magic the Gathering has been doing these alternative formats for like a long time now. And they seem to do it fine. Yeah. But... I don't know. I'm excited too in that like maybe this means alt arts or like retrains that are specific to Genesis format because those new cards might be 0 points or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's exciting, but it's also like, what is this going to mean? And my biggest fear is like, what if this like surpasses the popularity of advanced format? Which I don't know. Like.
Yeah, that's tough to say. I would assume that Advance would still eke this out, just simply for the amount of people that stuck on. I feel like the amount of people that stuck on with Yu-Gi-Oh are probably more than those who got left behind.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Make it dramatic, but are you saying if people like backtrack into
like instead? If you're say an advanced player right now, sure. And you're playing at like a pretty high level, so you're topping YCSs or whatever. Now here's a new format. Yeah. Like we see this with a lot of the great players. They like to play in like those retro formats and but now because this is a modern format, albeit has elements of that nostalgia, will they prefer this format and go there, making it more profitable for Konami to focus on this format? Which goes back to something you said earlier, Master Duel. This feels like they could incorporate it, into Master Duel very easily. They probably already have it in the works, right? Even the video looked a little bit like
the Master Duel.
Yeah. So I think from that way, like, is this where they try to bridge that gap?
I mean, it'd make a lot of people happy, I think. I'd definitely play Master Duel more if this was an option, just to escape that hellish meta that there's right now.
Yeah.
Not that I play it much right now to begin with, but
Yeah.
yeah, like it's got to be faster than going through a spreadsheet on a website as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. Just for deck building, which is probably another way for them to make money. Because if you want to conceptualize your deck in Master Duel, you have to spend those URs or whatever. So, yeah.
I wonder if, I mean, maybe this is a reach, but just because of how bloated the website felt today, trying to access it to do this, like I literally couldn't even do a test deck build because it was must have been flooded with people trying to access it.
Right.
If maybe this puts more eyes on Master Duel, just numbers on it of people using that as the resource to build the deck.
Yes.
Even for paper.
Yeah, could very well be. I mean, there is like whatever Yu-gi-oh Pro and unnamed simulators that people could use. But yeah, it's interesting. I think like again, another maybe irrational fear I have is this Konami's way of taking players from paper,
funneling them into Master Duel.
Right. Because, and then again, like contributing to that, will this take the advanced format, is that if you have a game you can play both mobile and in person, do those players now, especially like the content creators, do they move over to Master Duel because their content now appeals to not only the in-person audience, the like TCG audience, but also to Master Duel?
That's a good point.
And if you're trying to teach somebody how to play this game, is it more intuitive to do so through Master Duel? Because like something you just said made me think like it must be a nightmare on Konami's end too, of like, okay, yeah, new guy, come play Master Duel. It's cool. You got animations. And then you're fucking running into Malice every single game, getting stomped, and you're like, okay, I gotta craft Lancias or whatever. That's pretty bad for an onboarding experience. Like one of the most deadly combo decks ever.
Go play single player. Man.
Yeah. Watch some cutscenes. So this would definitely be more of like play in this player pool, because whichever deck you want to play, you returning player, you see Master Duel, whatever. That seems way more geared towards, like you said, returning players. So, yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. Mm-hmm. I wonder, like, I don't know. I guess maybe it's an irrational fear, but I do I feel a little bit like overwhelmed by like, okay, new format that's like real.
Yeah.
Because again, like I've never seen alternate formats as being like real.
Well, and I can't really speak for you, but I've never been on the ground floor for one. Like I was like adjacent to Speed Duel because it kind of was happening at the same time that I started playing again, but I never played Speed Duel.
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing this, and this is like, oh, this is the Yu-Gi-Oh I played.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point. Like I guess the closest thing I have experienced to this is like Master Rule, I guess it would have been 4, where Master Rule 3, where Pendulums came out, the zones changed. There was 2 additional zones, which then in Master Rule 4 got moved back. Yeah. We got the EMZ, which is also not a thing here. Yeah. It's just strange. It feels weird, like naked to me. Yeah. But I guess all those old playmats I have
are... got to dig out the paper ones from the starter
decks. Dude. So yeah, I don't know. That's weird, but yeah, it's been a long time since I've been on the ground, like you said, for a big change like this. So, yeah, like when we say format change, when it's like, oh, there's new cards and there's a ban list, but this is like the rules haven't changed, but I guess the decks have. Yeah. Which is another like cool aspect I was thinking about earlier, that like because there's no meta game, I'm sure like there will be one. Mm-hmm. It's Yu-Gi-Oh after all. People are going to find the best deck. Like we even see this with Edison, where the best decks at those times are not the decks people play in modern Edison, just because the way we approach deck building has kind of changed. Totally different, yeah. But will this kind of have the same effect where, those old strategies that are considered not viable anymore, now they're coming back? and you have to prepare for them. But can you prepare for those when you don't have the points to do so, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's what I see online of a lot of people missing from modern Yu-Gi-Oh! In that, like, you show up with your deck and you play a plethora of other decks, and each experience is a new experience. Yes. Whereas when we play Advance, we know the lines. Like, there aren't too many situations that we find ourselves in that aren't familiar once you've been playing in the format a lot. But I think you couldn't really say that about Genesys because every deck is technically viable. Yeah. Right? Like,
it's not going to be as rote as this has been. Because, like, while I do really like this current format, it is really like, oh, okay, it's yummy. Got to watch out for Snatchy. Got to get Snatchy off the field as fast as possible.
Yes.
Get the synchros. But yeah, like you said, this is going to be like, oh, instant fusion, Millenniumize Restrict. Okay, well.
Yeah. Like, I thought of Relinquish too when I saw this, because I'm like, finally. Yeah, exactly. Because, like, when I look back at, like, Edison, I always tried to play Relinquish, but it was like, man, you really need those new cards. Yep. But, there's no format where these viable. Two things were viable at the same time, right? So, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like just across off screen here, I'm looking at all my old deck boxes that have all my old cores. Some of them have even been retired to the binder because, like, you'll never see play again. You're just nice to look at, like Dream Mirror. Like, it's never gonna happen. But now there's a reality where that's a good deck. Probably not Dream Mirror, but Dark World with Graceful Charity and Pot of Greed's pretty crazy. So we'll have to see, I guess. But yeah, so you said RDA, Flu.
Maybe Ghoul still alive.
Yeah.
Maybe Ghoul's
yeah.
Tunes, I think that'd be what I want to do. Just because Tunes have a lot of in-engine trap and spell cards that never saw play.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Tunes never saw play, but now I have an excuse to play those cards, and that could be fun.
Yeah. And I guess one of the kind of hurdles I have mentally with, like I've been talking about with alternate formats, is that, like, with Advanced, if I take time away from the Advanced game, I feel like I'm falling behind. I might end up playing TB11 or something. But if I take time away from it, then I don't know, but maybe I don't have that same feeling about this. You can just play Gishki because you feel like playing Gishki, and it's no big deal.
I had the same concern, especially because of how much mental there is for the decks right now in Advanced format. If I do consider playing decks from this, which I probably would because it does seem fun on a baseline level, I wouldn't want to have ones that are too hard to think about. Like, I would probably do like an RDA or something because that's relatively easy. But then am I just going to get my teeth kicked in by somebody who's like meta-maxing the format or something?
Yes.
And then I'm not having fun again.
I never thought of that aspect too, of like relearning an old deck in this new format. But again, like taking time away from I'm trying to min-max Draco Tail right now. So yeah, those are like kind of my concerns. I don't know. What would your idea be like if you were designing product for Konami? And I'm sure they have ideas in the works, but what would you, I guess, like to see, and what do you think is like viable as product for Genesys?
I think it's just got to be a change in pack filler, which obviously we've wanted that this entire time, but I think now there's a reason to maybe bring back, just because they've just reprinted Retro Pack 2, right?
Right, yeah.
So those cards kind of have a place now in this format.
That's a very good point, yeah.
But if a set like that can exist, then maybe cards, not specifically ones that old, but ones from other archetypes, could be brought back as pack filler for the express purpose of being used in Genesys.
Yeah.
Then you've got both. You've got your advanced cards, which will still have the chase secrets in the set. And then the pack filler can just be some older stuff that, bulk stocks and CBG are going to go up off of it.
Oh, Jesus.
Now everybody's going to be pouring through these giant boxes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we might see less commons left on tables now, but probably not. Yeah, I don't know. Like, when I think of I agree with you in that it should address that problem. But I wonder too, was it just like unfortunate timing? Because we were so disappointed by the tins. Yeah. The retro pack is cool, but it is something that's always those kind of products always appeal to like a Yugi boomer or someone who's walking through Walmart and they go, "Oh, I recognize that. That's cool." Which I think, to Konami's credit, got people back in the game. Like yourself, like Dan. Like when the 25th anniversary stuff was coming out, it was like, "Oh, let's play a game."
It was a big pull.
Yeah, so I wonder if, had this announcement been kind of more in line, I know it's only like a few weeks, but with the timing of those releases, would that have, kind of catapulted those sales? Now, who knows? Like maybe those retro packs right now are going crazy at EB Games, but I just don't know. Like that's not even a product like our local game store keeps in stock, because
I've never seen those there at all.
it's just not. It's not really what anyone wants, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I would say our locals are probably a little more on the higher end than other locals.
Yeah.
From what I've heard of people talk about their locals online.
Yeah, especially especially in our city. Yeah, but yeah, good point. Like, and the people like Sean and Gordon who run our locals are up to date on all things Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Yeah. So I want, like, they were running an Edison event on Thursdays, which I'm not sure on the status of that right now. But just side note, they have like a leaderboard which they just started because we're waiting for the ban list. Hopefully we can have Sean on at some time to talk about all things CBG. But will this now replace that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I kind of feel for the was it RBE, really big Edison guys.
It was just an event this past weekend, I think, that was hosted somewhere in the States.
Yeah, and like they do good numbers. But Konami's made it official they don't support these formats, which is unfortunate. Like it always has been unfortunate since they made those announcements. But this, I kind of even think further, like they will not even hear about it now, right? Like
they'll just claim that they can't commit the resources to anything like this anymore because we've got this brand new thing.
Yeah,
check out this brand new thing.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's a good brand new thing.
Yeah.
Again, all the things we talked, like logistic issues about it, but like still feels bad. And I know for some people, like hopefully it bridges the gap, being that you can play your Blackwing deck or whatever. But I feel like if you're an Edison player, you're an Edison player, and it's going to be difficult to claw those people out of that format, no matter what. GOAT too, right? Like,
no, they're going to see an Ash Blossom that it's even still in a deck, and they're going to
yeah. It's what, I'm curious. Like, this is behind the scenes things, but like our buddy Will, right? Loves the game, refuses to play anything meta.
Yeah.
Now, when nothing's meta or everything's meta, how does your relationship with staple cards like Ash Blossom change? Yeah. Right? If, like, I guess you just probably still wouldn't play them and justify it as, oh, they cost money, but
I have to wonder if, because I've seen a couple builds already that are going up on YGO Pro, but there's one for RDA that went, and they are not running any hand traps in the main deck. I think the only cards that cost points in the main are 2 droplets.
Okay.
And then all of their hand traps are in the side deck. So I guess that they just make it like matchup dependent exclusively. What in-engine cards do I shuffle out?
Sure.
For hand traps.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's blind second. Yeah, but it is interesting, like how the format itself will change deck building, because like, even you mentioning the side deck, right? Like normally you would have your bombs in there, your like silver bullets, for Malice it was Lancia, for Mitsurugi Droll type of thing. Now you're kind of focused on making your main deck as good as it can be, right? If you reach that 100 points in your main deck, you can't afford to play anything, worth playing. Again, approaching it from like advanced mindset. So maybe people just get way more creative, but it will definitely have an impact on how people deck build for sure. I don't know. It's interesting, like what that kind of card economy will do to how we side moving forward, right? Like maybe people just show up without side decks.
Yeah, a bunch of the builds on YGO don't have side decks because they'll either put the hand traps that they want to run in the main deck, and that'll just eat up all of that point space that they have.
Yeah.
Other ones are the ones, like I said, that it's just only on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just making the in-engine stuff more viable to a degree is just the most interesting part about this, just for that surprise factor. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to play the weird blue edge cards now. Yeah, I hope that the meta game is healthy with the promise that they're going to be updating things.
Yes.
Like, that is a good sign for sure. Of course, only if they actually end up doing it. But what would be unfortunate is if, people min-max, and we're going to min-max because we're Yu-Gi-Oh players, we're competitive, we want to win, all that. But when that happens, not if, when it happens, it's going to be very important that if this is the returning player game and the new player game, that it's a healthy, even weird to call it meta, but healthy meta game.
Yeah.
For anyone who shows up to a space. I think this will also probably replace like those Heart of the Underdog tournaments.
I have to imagine. I actually completely forgot that was even an officially sanctioned event.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know it was official. I thought it was just people coping, to be honest. So, yeah. I don't know. Any other thoughts on Genesys?
No, it's just a matter of seeing how it goes. I hope that we do get some support here in the city. Like, it'd be really fun just to give it a try, just as an option.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if not CBG, we've got a couple other stores. We could see where they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll definitely have to play some games on the channel and just see how it feels. The only other thing is I think the logo sucks. Not a fan.
Yeah. Well, I meant to say this earlier too, but they invoked the original theme song, right?
Yeah.
In the background, the Duel Monsters theme song. And I'm kind of surprised that they didn't invoke any of the products. Like, that they didn't mention Retro Pack 2.
Yeah.
Or, obviously they can't say, here, check out Dude, it's got new stuff and old stuff. But
Yeah.
it's not for it yet. But
Yeah.
maybe there should have been something ready to go for it. Just to have
Yes.
just to be like, and you can build a deck with this set right now.
Yeah, because obviously if you follow Yu-Gi-Oh, you heard about this announcement. Like, you saw it on the blog.
Yep.
If you're on YouTube, you've seen it. That's shitty logo everywhere. But if you're someone who would otherwise be interested in Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's not in your media intake on a daily basis, this is maybe an announcement that didn't get to you.
No.
And if it didn't, like you say, what are they going to do about that? Now, it could be through Master Duel where they make an announcement there too, whatever. I actually am not sure. Do you know if this is going to be OCG too?
I don't think there was any mention of region-specific limitations in there. I think there was only TCG tournaments mentioned.
Okay.
Like, there was only like the YCS in the NA region mentioned, as far as I know.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any OCG.
It's interesting because is this also a push towards consolidating?
Hey.
Like, this is the closest we've had in a very long time to consolidated ban lists, if these rules also apply to the other regions, right? The OCG regions. But, and then if that is the case, then product release windows, do those change too?
Worlds tournaments are going to change. It's going to be less TCG on top for sure.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be on an even playing field at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So that's very fascinating, especially if the release schedule becomes what was the word, like amalgamated or whatever. Then everything is fresh when it comes out, whereas now we can look to the OCG and make changes and all that stuff, and vice versa for the world premiere stuff.
Feels like the deck is ready as soon as it comes out.
Yes, yeah.
I missed the surprise.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, certainly that would affect, like you said, like a world's ban list kind of thing. Wow. Yeah, a lot to think about. And I don't know. I'm ready to get cooking. I think my approach to the game is now going to be like, get an invite from a regional or OTS, and then just go play Genesys format. So yeah, I'm really interested. Hopefully we can get some content on it soon.
Do some feature matches.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out. And for everybody, make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you later.
See ya.